Okay, let's talk about the defensive performance first before we get into Brock Purdy, which we know that everybody wants to talk about that, I'm sure. But defense, okay. I tweeted out after the first drive that if this continues, I don't believe that Wilkes will be here through the bye week. And people were very angry about that tweet. Defense in the first half gave up 20 and 23 passing from Joe Burrow. They gave up over 7 yards per carry, yet they had a timely sack that forced them to miss a field goal and then a timely forced turnover. But ultimately, the defense was, there was nothing that they could do. They couldn't stop the Bengals from doing anything. The Bengals really hurt themselves. And then when you get to the second half, actually did what they've been doing all season, which is playing much better in the second half. Really, kind of gave up 3 points there until the very, very end. And then you had the interception by Purdy, which led to a touchdown from Chase. And then really the floodgates kind of opened up from there. What do you think of this defense, and does Wilkes make it out of the bye week?
So just to put this into context, this defense today gave up 29 first downs.
Mm-hmm.
When you're giving up almost 30 first downs, people look at yards per play too much. Like, that just showed it didn't matter. The Bengals could manufacture plays. And the bottom line is, can you remember a single play where the Bengals had a fluky offensive, like a fluky big play that gained them yards? Can you remember a single one? Because I'm looking at my notes and I don't see anything. I don't see anything where, like, oh my God, that guy just mossed him. That's a great play. Kudos to Cincinnati. They got lucky, or it was just a methodical gashing. And guys, this has happened since the second half in Cleveland. It happened all week. I had all 22 angles of the Vikings game, sitting 14 rows up from the end zone. It was miserable last week, and it was actually worse today. And that, to me, is what, all due respect to Steve Wilkes, we know that we want to blame players. Like, hey, I'm a teacher, you're a coach, right? But also as teachers and coaches, if there's not performance on the field, like, or in the classroom, whatever have you, have to reflect on what you're doing. And right now, we do know there's talent on that side of the ball. And the Bills ain't being paid. And so if this team, who just gave John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, how many years extension was it? I don't even know anymore, right? It was good times, right? It's another dinner at Jed York's, and everybody's all happy. I'm telling you right now, they're going to have to at least consider making a seismic change over the bye week, because I honestly don't think Steve Wilkes, I think he's in over his head with this team. I think the players continue to play undisciplined. And I also think that something we could talk about, that the 49ers culture is kind of a country club culture. I don't know if this 49ers team, like Fred Warner said last week about the grimy games, this wasn't even a grimy game. It just didn't even get grimy. It was just embarrassing.
Yeah, it was embarrassing. And the defense, like I said, it was awful in the first half. They had a couple of plays that ended up being timely and worked in their favor and kept it close. Second half was really good until the final half of the fourth quarter there, but this defense isn't getting the job done. I think that I do think that Wilkes doesn't make it out of the bye week. I don't think he makes it out of the bye week. They lost 3 straight games. And here's the other thing. There's going to be a scapegoat. It's going to be Wilkes, whether you believe it should be or not. And if that's the case, these are not things that Super Bowl winning teams have happen midseason, regardless of what you want to think. Like, these are not things that happen. If you fire a coach midseason, a coordinator midseason, that is not ideal. That is not Super Bowl winning things. Like, I think it's happened maybe one time that I can think of, and that was it maybe the Ravens team, their offensive coordinator, the year they beat us in the Super Bowl? I think it happened to them, but it doesn't happen very often. So either way, no matter how you want to split it, like, it's not a good thing if Wilkes does get fired.
No. And I think that right now you're going to come up to the bye week. You're going into Jacksonville, and Jacksonville's kind of still trying to find out exactly who they are and click on that offense. But all being said, I can't even check the record. I know they beat Pittsburgh today. I think, are they 5-3, 6-2? They're in a good spot. The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, they beat Pittsburgh. Yeah, they're a good-looking team too.
They're a good-looking team. You're going across. I know you got the bye week. I don't know what they plan on doing, but you go into Jacksonville. You come back across the coast to play the Bucs. and then on a short week back in Seattle. Then you're going to Philly. Then you're hosting Seattle, who are the division leaders, by the way. Then you think you have a reprieve in Arizona, which I don't even know at this point because the Niners defense can stop absolutely nobody.
And Kyler may be playing by then.
Exactly. We don't know. I mean, this team, and then all of a sudden, you go home and play Baltimore Ravens, and then go back across the country to play the Commanders, which all of a sudden are looking like a really tough out. The Eagles have struggled mightily, but eked out the grimy game, right? And then you got the Rams. I'm just saying, like, at the beginning of the year, my prediction was best case 12-5, most likely 11-6, and worst case 9-8, accounting for injuries. My right now, I don't feel great about my likely 11-5 or 11-6. And that's scary. And I think that they've got to solve some problems pretty quick, or they're going to be playing on the road in the playoffs every game.